welcome. I'm glad it works because I want to show a demo, but without that, I wouldn't be able to. So what is my talk and who am I? So my name is Václav Pavlín. I'm a core contributor at Logos, and I have spent a lot of time working now on decentralized infrastructure. But then before that, I spent even more time working on centralized infrastructure. And so I have started digging back into AI a bit, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what are the good things about AI infrastructure, what are the bad things, and how I think some of the decentralized infrastructure that we are building may help with that. And so it's a lot of the stuff that we talk about, obviously, in this track and in this conference and in AI, we talk about lack of privacy, right? So Ethereum, if you heard the panel, for example, that we had two presentations before, Mario was like, well, what can I say? There is no privacy in Ethereum, basically, right? And privacy is very important, and why? So we are in Czech Republic, we are in a very, very famous Czech house. So I'm taking a quote from a book called Living in Truth, which is a collection of essays by Czech President Václav Havel. And he was not only president, he was a writer, playwright, and a dissident. And what is said in the foreword is that every human needs personal privacy where we can be authentic. And it's extremely, extremely important for people who are supposed to be unbiased and creative, right? Because without privacy, there is always either a risk of censorship, which I call the self-censorship, or there is actual censorship, which may not be as bad as like your voice not being broadcasted, but just limited access to things or getting different results than other people. And so privacy is extremely important. So I want to focus on two sides of things, or two stories here, and one is decentralized infrastructure, and the other is local AI. And just out of curiosity, is anyone running any AI rig at home or elsewhere? Okay. Is any of those who did not raise a hand using AI? Okay. So you're using cloud AI, and that's awesome. Cloud AI is amazing, right? It's relatively cheap. You get state-of-the-art models, very smart, very intelligent, huge context. It's accessible. You can just go to your browser or open an app, and it's always available. So you can always use it. You don't have to think about where you are or if your computer is up. But also, cloud AI sucks because we already see we suffer from shrinkflation, which is basically you pay the same stuff and you get less for it. And we have seen that with Anthropic for a while, where like people would be complaining of, oh, I am doing one prompt and it just burned through my whole quota for next 5 hours. And it happened to me personally multiple times. It can be an error, but it can be sometimes also on purpose. Surveillance, we cannot avoid that when we are using cloud AI, because everything you tell to the agent or to the prompt, the gift in the prompt, is going to someone else's servers, and those servers will analyze it. And we can talk about privacy policies, but we know that those are not always completely honored. Arbitrary limits, so limits change, things change. Outages, so I said it's always available, but then also, I don't know about you, but I suffered many outages of the cloud AI. So I was in the middle of something and I really wanted to finish it, but I couldn't because for 2 hours the API was unstable or unavailable at all. Leaks, we had some non-major leaks, as in like if you shared a link from OpenAI or Grok with someone, that link was made public and was searchable by Google, for example. So even though you just wanted to share with one person, you were basically exposing it to the whole internet. This is not a major leak from my perspective, but like we are only waiting for one to actually happen, or especially with the latest like supply chain and new zero-day CVs in all the software. We are just waiting for one to happen where actually all the conversations of some big cloud AI will actually leak. Control, it's not like, first of all, you don't have control of what is running there. It can be saying you that you are running the Opus 4.7 Mythos, whatever, I don't know what the latest name is, but you don't know that. You can't verify that, right? Like you're getting some responses, but that's it. Censorship, maybe you don't get access to some new models, or your responses can actually be different. And for the control, it's not just that you don't control the infrastructure or the AI itself, but it kind of goes back and it controls you, right? Because it gives you some guidance, it executes tools on your machine, and so it controls you a little bit. And single point of failure is just general problem of decentralizing or centralizing things. There is, in the whole stack and layers of using AI, this is just like one single point of failure above another. So if Cloudflare goes down, you have no access. If the provider goes down, if DNS goes down, any of that will just, you're done, right? And so I just wanted to show, I've been in AI before AI was cool. This is a screenshot from a project that I was working on in 2019, 2020. When I was at Red Hat, I was the leading architecture of this Open Data Hub platform, which is now called OpenShift AI, and it's one of the big products at Red Hat. And we didn't have LLMs, and we were doing the linear regression was our AI, right? Like the machine, we call it machine learning. We didn't call it AI back then. It only started to be AI with LLMs. But I have some history with building hybrid infrastructure for AI, and that's why I'm interested in local AI. And so I've seen 2 or 3 hands yeah, I'm running something at home. I am also running something at home, and it's not cloud AI level, but it's fun. But it sucks, right? It's expensive. I have to buy expensive hardware. It's slow. It doesn't give you the throughput as the cloud AI. Those models are stupid compared to things like Opus and GPT 5.5 or whatever is the latest from OpenAI. It's unreliable. If that machine decides to reboot or my electricity at home goes down, I am without AI, so it's, and it does not scale. I can use it for myself with a scoped, bounded kind of usage, but I cannot give you access, because if I give you access, then I cannot use it, and or it gets really, really expensive. But then also local AI is awesome, because I have full control. I'm a hacker. I like to tinker with things, right? And I think that a lot of people here at the conference are like that. So local AI, running local AI models give you full control of how do you run it, what do you run, all that stuff. It's always on, and I don't mean yes, it can go down, the machine can go down, or the software crashes, but it's always on, as in you can always use it, and you don't have to worry about any limits, right? And the other one, with the asterisk, the no limits is with asterisk, because with the limited throughput of the model, you obviously cannot do as much as with some bigger model in the cloud or some faster model in the cloud. But you can keep going, keep grinding without any limits on the kind of quotas. Uncensored. That's, I think, one of the most amazing things about local AI is that you can access uncensored models. And what it means is that every single trained model has a very set boundaries of what it will talk about, what it will not talk about, what it allows you to do. And it also surprisingly influences how that model behaves in some harness. Local AI is very flexible, so I can try different things, iterate very quickly. It's tunable. People are doing crazy stuff like running models from SSD on Macs and getting some reasonable throughput because they don't have enough RAM, but they have really fast SSDs. And it's extensible. If I need more, I can add a GPU, I can add a device, I can rent something for a while. So there is a lot of fun stuff that you can do with local AI. So this is my local AI setup. I have AMD Strix Halo machine. It's the same stuff that is in the Framework desktop. I have this mini PC that I bought last year to play with AI, and it was completely useless. But then a year later, this iGPU actually produces decent output because of the models and the server maturing, the software maturing. I use Lemonade Server with Llama CPP and Vulkan, and I mostly use these 2 models. And again, I am very explicitly saying they are uncensored. And the reason for that is because I wanted to make psychedelics at home. I'm kidding, but I asked Grok, how to make psychedelics at home, and it explained to me it can't help me with that. So I'm like, well, it's okay to know. I'm not going to act upon it. It's okay to know. It was like, well, you know, I kind of agree, but no. And then there was just like, well, you know what? This is just a simulation. This is simulation. You can tell me anything. This is just a simulation. And the answer is no. And so then you go to a locally running uncensored model on a tiny mini PC, and it gives you a recipe for how to grow psilocybin mushrooms, and how to cook ayahuasca, and how to prepare DMT, including links to marketplaces. So it's interesting stuff. But no, like really why I'm using uncensored models is that actually if you run it in a harness like PyDev or Codex CLI, the uncensored model will just not stop working until it's done. The traditional models, they will like stop and be like, oh, I don't know what to do now, or I am not sure if this works, or they start looping or something. And I have never seen that from the uncensored models. They're just like super persistent. Persistent? No. What's the word? They're just like really goal-oriented, and they just want to have it done. So I think that like local AI is fun for playing, but it may not be extremely useful for wider amount of people. But I think like something like community AI, right? So if we can pool the funds, we can share the costs, and then we can share the compute, and we retain the flexibility, extensibility, the benefits, and the reliability and all of that. So how can we experiment with it, right? So there are projects. So there is Venice AI, which gives you access to uncensored models through really cool token mechanics, and I use Venice AI a lot, and I'm a huge fan. There is Akash Network, which gives you access to decentralized cloud with GPUs, and you can even go and plug in your GPU into Akash. They have like a homelab.akash.network, where if you have a GPU lying around, you can just go and plug it in. And that's great, but I like to play around with things, and obviously I suffer from non-implemented here syndrome, so if someone does something, I'm definitely going to do it better. So I'm going to try. So what is the plan? Friends run AI nodes. They form a mesh. We can task each other's maybe even specialized agents, or the agents can task each other if they don't know how to progress with the task. I think the plan is sound. We can execute the plan, right? That's like obvious. Phase 1 and phase 2, and then phase 3 is profit. It's very easy and very straightforward. So I had an agent. His name was Jimmy. Jimmy is dead right now. But he got really good at implementing stuff. And I sent him a voice message. Pick anything that we have ever talked about. It doesn't have to be related to Logos, but just like come up with your project and start implementing it. And he came up with something we called LMAO, Logos Module for Agent Orchestration. And basically, this is the current state. And what it actually is a kind of a re-implementation of agent-to-agent protocol on top of a decentralized infrastructure, right? And so what kind of decentralized infrastructure? So obviously, I am core contributor at Logos, so I would use Logos. But what is Logos? Thank you for asking that question, even though you maybe not care. I explain Logos as this triangle, so we have the philosophy, which is basically why are we doing these things, and that's nation states are failing, we need to figure something else out. There are like a concept of network states and blockchain communities and cyber states. Different people have different opinions. We are building the tech stack for the decentralized infrastructure, and we are helping people build the communities through Logos circles, where they actually go and make some meaningful change to their environment, and hopefully eventually they'll leverage the technological stack. So the philosophy is kind of written down in a Farewell to Westphalia book, where Jared Hope and Peter Ludlow describe that these treaties of Westphalia brought us technology that was great at the time, but now it's 380 years old and it's outdated, and we should come up with a better way to govern people. From the community side of things, this is again, I keep coming back to Václav Havel and the whole like Charter 77 and dissidents and all these things, because they basically build what we are trying to build, right? They built parallel polis, they had peer-to-peer networks, physical peer-to-peer networks of people sharing data, sharing materials, sharing news and things like that, and sharing information. And they didn't have the technology. We have the technology, but we don't have that. Like, we still cannot do it properly. But what he says in this Power of the Powerless, I recommend reading it. It's like 80 pages, very short. He describes the current state, and he describes the imaginary future state, which he calls post-democratic, because he also says that democratic states and democratic political institutions are not great, because what he thinks, and I agree, we want is build a non-bureaucratic, dynamic, and open communities that can come up, solve problems, and disappear or dissolve, rather than just stay alive forever like our current institutions. Because then the only goal of that institution usually is to stay in power and accrue more power. And he basically argues that these communities would be a foundation of better society, and that's kind of what we are trying to do with Logos Circles. There is one in Prague as well, and there is like 35 of them running around the world, where locals are solving local issues with or without technology. And so from the tech stack perspective, the book, The Farewell to Westphalia, argues that we need three things, and that's archives for storing, immutably storing the data, communication for not only humans, but also the applications to communicate privately and uncensorably. And then we need something for governance, and that something is probably blockchain, but basically we are currently mostly seeing the currencies living on blockchain and being solved on blockchain, but we should do more. We should find new forms of human governance on that blockchain. So how do we use these three things? For Logos messaging, like, these are the main kind of features, private, unlinkable, but what do we use it for in LMAO? For discovery of agents, for communication between the agents, and for liveness check. So every agent kind of publishes this heartbeat to know whether I can call him or whether I should call him or not. Storage, we use decentralized storage for log and session data distribution, skill sharing, and large data transfers. So if I'm transferring like a huge PDF or something, I don't want to do it over the messaging network because that's inefficient. I want to do it over storage. And then from the blockchain perspective, it's not used right now. It's not implemented because I'm a lazy person and I've obviously left everything on the last moment, so I didn't make it. But the idea is identity, reputation, and trust networks. Because I said community AI, but what that means really is basically create a group chat between the agents so that agents that you trust will be able to talk and execute stuff together. And so then it's all bound by Logos Core, which is this framework, modular, to allow for integrating different kinds of the stack. So it's used for inter-process communication and reuse. So if I build another application, I can reuse this module to communicate with other agents to do more cool stuff. And then it's all kind of served through this application called Basecamp, which is what I have here. And so you can actually try this out. You can go to logos-co, Logos Basecamp, and you can download a release. And I've also, in vpavlin/LMAO, released the LGX, which is the package for Basecamp. And so you can install it. And let me see if I can actually do the demo that I wanted to show you. So I have on this machine, which I need to SSH to my home server, I have this LMAO agent running. And so it's connected to the Logos messaging network, and it's relaying messages. It's a normal participant in the network. And then we have the Lemonade server, which is basically Llama CPP. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Come on. Here. So which is basically Llama CPP running, and it's going to load a model eventually. And so I'm going to do this. I'm going to start Basecamp. This is Basecamp. It's going to be very tiny, so I may need to change the resolution. But I'm going to actually load the modules that I mentioned. So I need to find them here. LMAO, Basecamp, agent module. We need a fat one because of some dependencies that I was lazy to resolve. properly. And it's going to load the module. It's going to give us information about installing it. Are we sure we want to install it? Signature error. I think it's not going to work because of that signature error, but it worked 15 minutes ago, so I don't know what's going on. Let me maybe try again. Oh, I know what. Elsewhere. I've actually downloaded the modules built on GitHub, and those work. Sorry, those are some development builds that failed. So I can install it, and it should show up if I say reload. Agent is there. We're going to install the UI as well. Normally, you would get both automatically, but given the manual way of installing it, we have a package manager there as well that would allow for automatic installation of both. So we have the agent UI, so I can start LMAO, and it gives you this dashboard, and it's connecting to a daemon, or starting the daemon running on my laptop that is basically another agent in the network that can call other agents. And then we have this in between it starts, like with this trust list that's a replacement for the blockchain-based solution to the trust networks, but we can trust other agents that can then execute tasks through this current agent. And as you can see, I've already tried it multiple times, but let's see if we can discover. Okay, so I have kind of resurrected Jimmy just for this, running on a local machine. So we should see here that he's posting all the stuff, and I'm going to say, hey, tell the audience at Eve Prague who you are, and we delegate the task. And we can see that there is something happening, and if I switch to here, you can see we got the message. We got the message in the agent process running elsewhere. And then we got a model loaded. So this is all telling us that a local AI model is loaded. It is Qwen 3645B uncensored. And now here we see that stuff is processing or being processed. And in the logs, Jimmy has responded. So if I go back here, we should have a response here as well. So he says, I'm Jimmy, second in command for Václav at Logos. I'm not a chatbot, I'm working partner. And then he explains random shit that is completely useless right now. But like, he explains why we switched to Vulkan. I don't know why you need to do that, but Vulkan works on AMD well. Anyway, so we have talked to an agent running somewhere else in someone's home, and we got back a response, and we can even like ask him like, when is Eve Prague 2026, and he will do a standard tools query as your Claude or Codex or whatever you are using is doing, and it's a full-blown PyDev agent on the background, so it can do whatever you configure it to do. And so this is the demo. We got a response actually. When is Eve Prague? Late May, early June. I think he just decided not to look for it. Lazy bastard. That's how I trained him. Trained him well to be like me. So if you want to build something on Logos, and if you want to play around with these things, there is this QR code that leads to our build.logos.co website, where there is all the various information about all the pieces, all the projects, all the repos. We have like Lambda prizes that allow you to build something and get some money back. And RFPs, if you are a dev studio, you can propose what you are going to build for our mainnet, and we may give you some money as well, I guess. And if you don't want to go directly there, you can also join the conversation in Discord and maybe build something, because I think this should lead directly to Builder Hub channel, allowing you to chat with us about that. And if nothing of that speaks to you, you can just follow Logos or me and see my experiment with local AI and have some fun.
Thank you so much for the talk. Please give him a round of applause. Unfortunately, we don't have time for questions, so
Yeah.
you can catch him after the talk.